What is up? So, this question came to me in a DM about how to get family support when you are going through some withdrawal process from benzodiazepines. With my experiences, you don't. They don't understand or are unwilling to become educated on what happens to an individual when they go through benzodiazepine withdrawal. You're not the same person as you were before. When you were on the drug, everyone might have thought you were like the coolest, calmest guy, but when you get off of it, your brain wreaks severe social havoc on yourself and other people that are around you. So, if I could go back in time and understand why these things were happening to me and understand the withdrawal process, I probably would have approached my family a little differently. They kind of just cleaned up a suicide mess, and that was all they knew. And I had testosterone needles everywhere and hundreds of Xanax and clonazepam and Ambien all over the floor. And this was right when I wanted to kill myself, so why the fuck would I clean that up, right? Now, my family just labeled me a drug addict, right? These are drugs that were prescribed to me at very high doses, which is very borderline malpractice because they're giving them out. 1 in 5 people are taking benzodiazepines, and you go when you complain about anxiety, the doctors see it as a quick fix, and they don't realize the social economical damage that it's going to cause later on when that person is withdrawing, can't contribute to society, has major health issues, seizures, comas, or even dying. And they kind of ignore that whole process because think about a therapist. They see 100 people a day. Now, they can't spend an hour with each person. So what do? They prescribe benzos, and that person doesn't come back until they realize it's not working anymore. We got to up our dose. So there's so much wrong with how it's being prescribed. There's so much wrong with the pharmaceutical industry. There's even reports of doctors getting paid to prescribe Xanax to people that might not actually need the drug. Now, the drug can be life-saving for people that are prone to seizures or have degenerative issues, but normal 22-year-old, I'm 31-year-old should not be prescribed Xanax as a first-line defense of anxiety or depression or insomnia. There are other tools out there that can help you sleep and help you become happier in life. So when doctors just give it to you like they did me, I had no warning instructions. I had no realization of the withdrawal process, and I was feeling too good. I didn't want to research anything bad about the drug, which unfortunately doctors do not have your back when it comes to these very psychoactive drugs that can kill you. They don't want to tell you the bad stuff if they're getting $1,000 prescription per script commission. Why would they? Now, that's malpractice, and there's a lot of lawsuits against doctors prescribing Xanax and clonazepams and other benzo class drugs today. But the whole topic is, how do you get your family on board and educate them? First, you could show them this video. You could show them another video, the Ashton method of why benzodiazepines are so dangerous when prescribed for long term. Long term is 2 to 4 weeks. I've been on them for 3 years at 12 milligrams of Xanax. And that's just ridiculous. Doctors, yeah, you just need more. You need more. Take 3 a day of the 2 milligrams Xanax. Take 4. Take 5. And then those stop working. So you start consuming your prescription, and then you run out and you start facing these devastating, horrific withdrawal symptoms. So I would try to educate them by sitting them down, saying, look, here is what's going on. I could die through this. This is very serious. And maybe send them videos of other doctors talking about it. Our family tends to be naive and push labels and say you're just a drug addict. Well, fuck your family and fuck my family, because that is so fucking inconsiderate and disgusting that leads to people feeling isolated. People are killing themselves through the withdrawal process because it's so devastating, and their families alienate them. Bunny, David Miner, Danielle Miner, Kristen Miner. I tried to kill myself. My family stopped talking to me. So I was isolated, and I had no idea what was going on with me. That's not what families do. Families stay together through the thick and thin. My family are pretentious-ass Mormons. I have tattoos, so they probably don't fucking like me anyways. But it's either their schedule or goodbye, right? I mean, they're very fucking stupid and uneducated, and they don't see real-world problems because they have money. You know, they've been cushioned in this Mormon bubble belief of everyone's perfect in the church, and if they deviate away, they are very much sinners and they need to be saved, and you can't trust them. Well, newsflash, fucking Mormons, the rest of the world does not like you. They are not like you, and most likely do not like you. So, try to educate your family. Bring a sense of seriousness to the conversation. Let them do the research, but encourage it. And they should be able to convey that seriousness from the way you present it. I've been in sales for the last 20 years, and I can go into a sales pitch, completely demolish it because I'm not reading the person or presenting it in a way that they understand. Mormons aren't really scientific. They don't believe in climate change. They believe that, Joseph Smith had a little wooden egg he could see through and carried 10,000-pound gold blocks in his back, and only he could see it as he was fucking his sisters. So Mormons are a special case, but in general, if your family is pushing back on the idea, calling you a drug addict, just tell them, these are what the doctors prescribed me. They didn't tell me that I could die. This is serious, and that should get through that barrier of judgment. The last piece of advice I will give you when it comes to benzodiazepines is I wouldn't go into the craziness of what can happen because you'll lead to death every time. It's that serious. I had a seizure just driving my motorcycle, and then I fell off of it and broke my wrist and had road rash all down my back. You don't know when it's going to hit you. Your GABA receptors play a very important role in your cognitive abilities. I was walking around at 4 a.m. I couldn't find my way home, so I had to call the police. I was 3 blocks away. That's scary shit. Don't go to a detox facility. 30 days is not enough. You will die. You will have severe withdrawals. It's inhumane. And the reason that they have that 30 days is because that's when insurance cuts them off. And it's complete malpractice. And they're uneducated on benzodiazepine withdrawals. Even though if they say we have a benzo treatment program, only 5% of people actually succeed statistically through all of those treatment centers. Look up the Ashton method. Okay, Dr. Ashton, she helped 300 patients with a 90% success rate get off benzos by a very, very slow taper over a couple years. Guys, I'm talking about 0.001 milligrams shaved off of your dose every 3 days. And as that's happening, your brain realizes there's a deficit and starts compensating for it. But the biggest thing is the amount of benzos that you're getting in is still producing GABA. You're still going to suffer, but you're not going to have seizures and die. Okay? And I don't know why more rehab facilities are not doing this. I am filing a lawsuit for malpractice against the Phoenix and Utah. And they were the worst experience. It's a $30,000 1 month luxurious fucked up situation. They lock you in a room, cut off all your beds, and you're with meth heads, you're with fucking heroin addicts, you're fucking with fentanyl addicts, and God bless them. They're going through their own shit, but they're more erratic. They'll want to fight you. They'll want to play prison games with you. It's an unsafe environment, and the worst part is the security was filming the incident like it was for their social media. Government-run facilities are also bad. I would not check into one of those. I've been in plenty because it's kind of a crossover. You'll find inmates and felons, and then it's like total prison yard games when you're in there for mental health. I remember I got my ass kicked standing up for this nerdy-ish kid sitting next to me. This other guy wanted his food. He said no, and he got a fucking fork in his head. So I punched that guy, and then I got my ass kicked by his goon. So don't go to state-run facilities. The Meadows in Arizona, fuck you. I'm filing a lawsuit against you too. I'm actually going to get rich by just suing fucking for malpractice. And I talked to plenty of lawyers that said, yes, this is completely malpractice. So the safest way, guys, is to convince a doctor to follow the Ashton method. Now, it's hard to facilitate shaving off micromilligrams of a pill, especially when you get small. So there's compounding pharmacies, but I paid $20,000 to facilitate this method, and that is difficult, okay? That is expensive, and I understand that. If you don't have that, there are people online on YouTube, I'll try to leave a link in this channel, that use these micromilligram scales, and they seem to be pretty successful. But the problem is, depending on your drugs, they're really off balance. So one day you could have a small dose, the other day you have a big dose, because how do they evenly distribute the pill, right? But if you can get a doctor, a psychiatrist, or a rehab facility to follow the Ashton method in intensive outpatient, I would recommend going to the group therapies. I would recommend getting involved with Benzo Buddies community online and develop skills that are going to help you live a good life when this is all over. Because this is a 3-year process where you're fucked. A job? No. Get out of here. Homeless? Most likely. But it's your last chance if you want to get off this drug. Another thing is if you stay on the drug, what happens, right? Early onset of Alzheimer's, suicidal ideation, depression. Like even when GABA's artificially inseminated into your brain, you still have very severe side effects. So the longer you're on the drug, the more rough it is to get off of it. But the good news is, guys, is that you can. Dr. Ashton had people 80 years old that took it for 20 years that successfully got off of it and had a happy life. So if you have any questions, of course, please reach out to me or hop on the forum with Benzo Buddies. They have 200,000 members, and knowing that you're not alone is the most powerful part of this journey. So thank you so much. Keep up the good fight, guys.